Welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. On this episode of Quick Bytes, we're going to take a look at two Google Chrome browser extensions. One's called Mote and the other is called Kaizena. We have done some sessions on student feedback or providing student feedback in the past, and I was given one of these Chrome extensions as a suggestion, and the other one I have known about for several years, and I've probably talked about in past. I may have even mentioned it in one of my previous sessions. So today I want to kind of take a look at both of these together because they are very similar. Both of them will allow you to provide voice comments right directly in a Google Doc sheet slide in the Google Docs platform. So voice comments, and one of them goes a little bit further, even actually quite a bit further, and allows you to track certain skills as well as provide additional learning and episodes that you can pull in from different lessons that you can kind of augment the learning and the instruction at the time. So I'll go into all of that and show you it. It's better to kind of show it than talk about it. So let's get right into this. As always, if you're joining us live, you can ask questions out in the side there on the chat bar, and we'll try to get to them by the end of the session. Also, below the video in the description, there's two links in addition to the description for today's episode, two links to the Chrome Web Store for both of these items that we're going to be talking about. And actually, I'm going to pull those up right now if I can. Oh, there we go. Hold on a second. Let me get this for you if I can. Scroll a little too crazy for you. All right, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Chrome Web Store. The first one that I'd like to talk to you about is Mote, and this one came from a fellow colleague who had suggested this one, voice commenting for Google Docs. And it is super easy, super simple, and you can actually go back and edit and revise if you need to change your comments, but it basically takes a voice comment, transcribes it, puts it into text, and then also links to the audio version. So it's really pretty cool, very simple to use, very easy to use. If you're just looking for something different than what you're used to doing, then Mote is going to be it. The other one I want to talk to you about, actually, we can do from the add-on store, the G Suite Marketplace. So you would go down to, in a doc, and this is our sample doc here, go down to add-ons in the toolbar at the top, go down to Get Add-ons. And then once you are in the G Suite Marketplace, and for those of you that maybe haven't been here in a while or used to think of this as something else, it has changed. Google has kind of consolidated their G Suite Marketplace and the Google Add-on Store into this one location. So that's why it looks and feels a little bit different. But it really is just where you can get your add-ons like you have before. You can actually see I've got Kaizena kind of up here in the top listing because I did just recently add it back in. I've had it in before. And for those of you that are domain managers or Google admins, you may see this where it says domain install because you can push this out to the entire district or organization, and I am for ours. I have not chosen to do that because it's not something that we necessarily want to push out to everybody, but it is available for you to add on and install individually. And I already have it installed, but you would see here to the right of domain install, it'll say individual install. And that's where you can just add it for yourself. So if you are in position like mine, you might see both options. If you're not in my position, you may just see the install, and that's what you have available to you. But that is Kaizena. And once it gets added, then it'll be up here in add-ons under Kaizena, and then you can open Kaizena. For Mote, it is an extension, so you're going to see that in the upper right-hand corner up here. Kaizena, I believe, used to be an extension, but is now full web app, so it's kind of put into the add-on. So I know I mentioned it both as extensions. One is an add-on and one is technically an extension. So you can see Mote is up here. The extension is enabled, and I have also enabled voice transcription, and you'll see what that means once we start to do this. So I'm going to actually start with Mote because I think that's the easiest to use. And the way to trigger this is just to select some text, just as you normally would insert a comment. I've got some text selected here, and you got the add comment little speech bubble that pops up. Click that. And just as if you were going to insert a comment traditionally through Google Docs, you'll see that in the text box, I now have a Mote icon. And if I hover over it, you can see that I can start recording and I get 90 seconds max time. So I would literally just click on this. I would like to see you elaborate a little bit more on this section. So you can hear I gave the voice comment, I clicked done, and then it's going to transcribe it for me. And then all I need to do to finish this out from the teacher's perspective is click comment. And then you can see it's making the transcript. It has transcribed what I said. I would like to see you elaborate a little bit more on this section. And then I hopefully have got this working correctly so you'll be able to hear the audio. But I'm going to play it for you now. I would like to see you elaborate a little bit more on this section. Okay, so hopefully you heard that audio and it played through the live stream that I'm doing right now, and that you heard that, but that's just a playback. So it's a great way for you as a teacher to provide feedback through a different means, giving them that verbal feedback. Sometimes letting the students hear your voice is all they need. To kind of feel like they're back in the classroom. It's just a little something to give them that feeling that they're still there and everyone's together and you've got, the teacher there. And so a nice little way to just quickly add a little voice comment using the Mote, M-O-T-E, extension. Very simple to use. And if you do want to edit this, let's say you want to go back in and revise, you can actually click the edit button, change your transcript and update it. And it will update the text. It must have you re-record, is my guess, because let's just see. Let's take out one word. Click update. So it must just do the text. No, it doesn't ask you to re-record. I would like to see you elaborate a little bit more on this section. Yeah, so it just changes the text. It does not obviously have you re-record the audio comment, but it does change your text comment, the transcription. So if there was an error or something there, you could kind of fix that. So we'll go ahead and resolve that. That one puts it away. That's Mote. That's the extent of Mote from this point. You do need to enable the extension. Obviously, add it first from the Chrome Web Store, enable it, and then if you'd like the voice transcription, you can do that as well. Otherwise, you can just go with it as normal. So let's get into Kaizena. That one's a little bit more involved, but another good feedback tool. You do have to go into add-ons, go down to Kaizena once you add it. And in both of these, there was just a brief, very brief, create an account using your Google login that you don't see in this live stream. I did do that prior to this, so just be aware. You do have to kind of create your account. And you can do that with your Google logon, so it's very simple. So once you start up Kaizena, it opens up out here in the sidebar. You can see it's a full top to bottom sidebar. And it has text message that you can type text comments back and forth. You've also got the voice comments, so I'd like to see you elaborate a little more on this section. Stop and post, and it puts it in there as a text comment. I'd like to see you elaborate a little more on this section. Okay. And then, And then, so you've got your voice comment, your voice message. It doesn't necessarily put it in with the text of the document. So unlike Mote, the comments, whether they're voice comments or text comments, are going to be kind of out to the side. And I do believe that the student would also need to have Kaizena as well in order to see these on their side. So it's kind of a reflective piece here. You both need to have this. There's two other things that Kaizena has that might be appealing to you as an additional kind of step here. And one is skill tracking. You can actually, if you kind of go through these skills, and I'll show you, obviously if they're writing or something, repetition. I know that's one that I suffered greatly as I was writing as a student years ago. If you click on it, you can see that you can track this. And if you select it, then you give them a score. So for repetition right now, maybe it's kind of low. Maybe the student has got a low, a not so good score on repetition. And so I've got a way to track this, at least on a somewhat of a small rubric based. Where are you with regard to your repetition? And maybe on another doc later on, I go back in and I select repetition, and now you're doing 3, and I can post that. And you can see that the skills can be managed on the dashboard. So Kaizena has its own full-fledged dashboard web app that will kind of allow you to curate these skill trackings. And it's just a way, kind of a little quick rubric to give the students some quick feedback on, repetition on this document, I'm not doing so great. But on this document, my repetition score is up to a 3 out of 4. I'm actually doing quite well. I'm doing much better. So I improved on my repetition. Then the last item here is lesson, where you can actually look for lessons that are already kind of embedded, or you can, I believe, create your own lessons on the dashboard. But you can preview this, and it's basically a way to kind of just insert a quick little lesson on a topic that maybe your student is having difficulty using direct quotations. Select that and post it. Oftentimes there's a video that goes along with it. So they've got follow these rules for direct quotations and then a little bit of a video. So it gives you a quick way to kind of reach out to your students, give them the feedback, and also give them additional learning opportunities so that they can go and learn more about using direct quotations rather than just hearing you say, you didn't do it right. Well, why? Well, here are the rules to follow, and here's a video to help supplement that. So you've got quite a few different options with Kaizena. Your typical or traditional voice and text comments, but then you do also have skill tracking that you can really build out depending on how much time you want to spend on it. You can really build out that skill tracking as a feedback mechanism. And then you do also have your lessons if you want to give them additional learning opportunities. So Kaizena is kind of a full-bodied feedback tool. It is now an official add-on, or progressive web app, as they will often call it. It does have its own dashboard that you can, again, as you create your account, you'll go in there and you'll see where these things are. You can kind of create them and build them out. Actually, let's see if we'll take you over to that dashboard just to show you what it looks like. And I do need to click login with Google. That's the account that I used. And then you can kind of see in here, this is where you can edit these different skills. So there's my students, here's my skills, and here's my lessons. And this is where I would go and curate kind of that back end database that I'm going to use when I'm in my document here. So that is kind of where we get to use all of this stuff. So it's got its own full web dashboard. So I've shown you Mote, which is just a quick little Chrome extension, lets you add voice comments directly into your Google Doc as if they were embedded comments. And then you've got Kaizena, which does allows you to do the same, but then also takes it to the next level. Just two tools that you can use in a remote environment where normally you'd walk around the classroom and you'd stop in and say to Johnny or Susie, hey, I happen to notice this. I just want to talk to you about your repetition, blah, blah, blah. Now you have the ability to kind of do that little check-in with either Mote or Kaizena and provide that feedback. And that's one of the things that I know we're finding is difficult to do, is to keep the level of feedback the same as it was when we were in the classroom. And how do we do that in a remote learning environment? Well, Mote and Kaizena might be able to help you do that. So I hope you enjoyed this. I don't see any questions coming in at this point, so I hope you join us for our next session. We'll see you then.